Welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. And in this video we will learn the simple way to use SQLITE. So we will do the CRUD operation in this video by using form control, images and local database, that is SQLITE. And this is how our application will look, and this is the form we are using. And in this form we are using input control, then we have a multi-line input control, then we have a number input control, then we are using the drop down. Here we are using the image picker also, and we can select the image from gallery, or we can also click the image by using a camera. And here whenever we click any image, that will come over here, and then we can save the data, and we can add the data, and the data will come over here in the data table. And here we can add the data, we can edit the data, and we can delete the data. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, we are using two packages in our application. First one is SQFLITE, and that will be used for that SQL operations, that local database and all. And second one, we are using image picker, that we will use to load the images from our local gallery, and by using the camera or by using the gallery. So let's get started with the code part. We will add the packages. So now we will create the model. We will add the folder here, models, and that model we will create one file, that is data_model.file. Just to save the time, I have already created the class. I will go through that class. Before that, we will also create one more model file, that is model.file, and that will be used as a base class. So here what I am doing, I have created one variable that is of string type, and I am passing that table and name it as a table, and I'm passing that table name over here. That will be used in our SQLITE. Then we have a variable of ID, then we have product name, then we have category ID, then we have product description, then we have price, then we have a product pick, and then we are creating one function that is from map, and that is basically used to get the data from that SQLITE. And here we are mapping the value in with our variables. Then we have a toMap function, and that function is used to pass the data from our model to the SQLITE. And here we have ID, product name, category ID, product description, then we have price, then we have product pick, and here we are also checking if the ID is not null, then we are mapping that ID is equal to ID. That part is basically used for the edit and all. Then we have one more model, that is category model, and here we have a variable of that table, and that name it as a product_categories. And that category model is basically used for that you can say for drop down we are using in our application for the category. And we have a category ID, then we have a category name over here, then same function of from map, and then we have a toMap. So now we will create one DB helper class. We will create one folder of utils, that is basically utilities. Then we will create db_helper.file. And this one also I have already created just to save the time and all. I will go through that code. So we have created one abstract class that is of name it as a DB, and there we have static database variable, and that is _DB. Then we have a version variable. Version is basically used for we are not covering that versioning and all in this video, but the version is used for if suppose you have any application of SQLITE and you released new update on that application, but you done some modification in the schema and all in the database, then you can do the version change and all, and then you can call on update function, and there you can execute those new change in the schema and all. Then we have a future type of initialize method, and here we are checking if db is not equal to null, then we are returning from here, else we are just checking that database path is equal to await data get database path we are using, and from here we are getting the path of that database. Then we are creating one private variable of path, and here we are joining that database with our database name. Database path we are joining with our database name, and we are name it as a CRUD.db. And then in the db we are just opening a database, we are passing the path here, version, and then we are passing the onCreate method. And in the open database we have a multiple methods, and here we have a path variable and optional type of version, then we have onConfigure, then we have a function onCreate, then we have a onUpgrade, and this is the onUpgrade method that we can use in updating our application in the schema or anything. So here we have a onCreate method. So what we are doing in this method, we are executing the schema for our database, and we are creating the table here. We are creating the table here, create table products, then we have ID integer type, and we are making it as a auto increment. Then we have product name, then we are having category ID, then we have product description, then we have a price type of real, that is of float or double type. In the SQLITE it is name it as a real, and then we have a product pick that is of string type. Then we are creating one more table, that is create table product category. So in this video we are only doing the CRUD operation for products and not for that product categories. So we are just creating the table here, and we are using that for our drop down of categories. And then we have an ID and category name in this table. Then we are calling that insert statement for our product category, and we are passing here category name because the ID is auto increment, and then we are passing the category that is t-shirt, shirt, trouser, and we have shoes. So we are basically creating 4 data in our product category table. Then we have a multiple method here. Then we have a query method that is used to fetch the data from the database. Then we have an insert method that is used to insert the data in the SQLITE database. Then we have an update method that will be used to update the data. Then we have a delete function. Then we have a batch function. We are not covering that batch functionality in this video. That is basically used to do some bulk operation or something like that in transaction and all. So that's all in this DB helper. So before moving to the UI part, we have also created one more helper class, that is for the form helper. So we have created one file of form helper.dart file. So here what we are doing, we have created one class of form helper. So we have created a multiple widget over here, and in this widget are reusable widgets, so we can use it anywhere in any of our form. Instead of that writing again and again same code of text, form, field and all, we just call that text input, and we can pass the parameter and all. And we having a parameter of context, then we have initial value parameter, then we have on change event, then the optional type of is text area, and if we can also use the text input as a text area also, as a normal text box also. We are passing a parameter is number input, and we can also make it that text input as a number input also. Then we have a function on by valid, then we have a widget of prefix icon, then we have a suffix icon. So what we are doing, we are returning here text form field, and we are passing the parameters. And for the decoration, we have created one generic decoration. We are using that decoration in all our widget and all. So I will go through that also. Then we are checking here for the max line, we are checking here If that if not of text area, then we are passing it as a 1, else as a 3. And we are checking here is number input, then we are passing keyboard in type as a text input type is number, else text input type dot text. Then on change event, we are just returning our own change callback. In the validator also we are doing the same, on validate, and we are passing the value over here. Then we have a field decoration, and here we have a parameter of context, then we have a hint text, then helper text, then same prefix icon and suffix icon. So this one we are using to design our control and all. So I will go through that function and all again when we load the form, and I will show you one by one over there. Then we have a select dropdown, and here we are passing that object initial value. Then we have a dynamic data, then we have a function on change event, and then we have a on validate. Then we are passing here we are returning here container, and there we are having a child, and in that child we are passing drop down button form field, and here in the hint we are passing string text select, and then we are passing the initial value for the value. And in the on change we are using that on change, we are calling that callback method of on change. And the line number 75, what we are doing, we are doing the request focus, like whenever we select any of that drop down value, and just to maintain its focus we are using this line. Then we have a validator, and here we are returning the on validate. Then we are passing that decoration of our common field decoration, and then we are passing that items, and item we are just passing our dynamic data variable, and here we are passing that drop down menu item as a string type. Then here we are passing the model of category model, and the value we are using that ID, and the child we are passing that text, and in the text we are passing category name. Then we have a field label, we have a common field label that will be shown to all the inputs or all the form controls. We are doing nothing here, just passing the label name, and we are doing some style over here. We are bolding it, and we are making it as a bold, and also we are passing the font size as a 15. Then we have a file picker over here, and in this file picker what we are doing, we have created one variable of image file. Then we have class initialize of image picker. Then in we are returning here column template, and we are returning here column widget, and inside that we are using the row widgets, and inside that we are using the size box, and we are defining the size of 35. And here we are having a first icon, that is the image icon, that will be used to fetch the image from our local gallery. For that we are using that line of code picker.get image, and here we are passing source image source as a gallery. We are having a two option here. First one is a gallery camera, and second one is a gallery. And for this icon we are using the gallery. Then we are checking here if that image file, and then on the we are just calling our callback of on file picked, and we are passing the pick file. And then we have camera icon, and that camera icon we are changing the source to image source.camera, and here we are just passing also we are calling that callback method of on file picked. And then here we are just in the we are checking if the file name is not null, then we are just returning that image dot file, and here that we are passing that file name, and we are passing the width and height, and whatever the image we will select from our by clicking on the icon, that will be shown over here. And in the case of if the file name is not selected at all, we are just passing the empty container. So then we have also created one method that is for show message. Whenever we do any of our CRUD operation of add, edit, delete, we will show that message, and that is data has been successfully saved or modified, or do you want to delete it, like that way of message. and for that we have also created one generic method here, that is show message. And here what we are doing, we are just returning show dialog box, and in the builder we are returning the alert dialog, and we are passing the title, message, and then we have a flag buttons for two. We are passing if confirmation dialog, then we are passing the two button by using the visibility, else we are passing just a single button for OK. And we can also pass that button names and all from that over pages and all. So that's all in this form helper. Let's move to the data service layer. So here we will create one new folder, that is service folder. Inside that service folder we will create one new file, that is db_service.dat file. So here also we have created few methods over here, and the first one is add product. So what we are doing in this function, we are just passing the model name over here. We are using the proper oops concept and all. We are creating the model file and all. We are not passing any variable names and all in the function parameter. We have just created one class file, that is model file, and we are passing it as a proper model file, and then we are making it as a async call. And here we are initializing the database that is required. Whenever we call it, it will go let's go to that function. What it will do, it will check if the DB is not null, then it will return, else it will reopen the database and we can access from there. Then we are checking here, we have created one variable of is safe is false, and here in the line number 8 we are checking if the model is not null. Then we have created a variable of inserted, that is of int type, and we are using the await here, and then we are calling db.insert, and here we are passing the table name which we have created in our model class, this one, that's static string table, and we are passing the table name from there. Then we are passing the model here, and if we go to the insert function, we are passing that model, and here it is calling toMap, and if we go to that toMap, that is coming from the model. That model we have used as a base class of our model class, and implementation is here, this one toMap. And what it is doing, we are creating here the that variables array of that map, that is key value, and that we are returning from here. Then we are checking if insert is equal to 1, then we are passing the is safe is true, else we are passing as a false. Same we are doing for the update product also, and we are passing here product model, then we are passing the model class, same class, then it will check. Here we have to update it. Yeah, so here we have created updated variable, then we are calling db.update, and we are passing the same table, and then we are passing the model. If you go to that model class, you will see one thing over here, id is not equal to null. So in the case of add, that id will be always null because that is auto increment, but in the case of update it will not be null. That's why we are passing checking here, and we are passing in the map here, and that will be used in the case of update. If I go to that update, you will see here we are checking here id is equal to, and we are passing here model.id. That has been used in the case of update, and the data has been updated. So then we have one more function we have created, that is get products, that we will use in the data table to show whatever data we have created, and that will be shown in the data table by using this method. So we have created one in the same way. We are just calling db.initialize, and then we have a variable products, that is of type map string dynamic of list type. Then we are calling here db.query, and we are passing the table name over here. Then we are doing the mapping and all, and with the product model we are mapping the list, and we are doing to list. And same we are doing for the get categories, that will be used for the drop down. and we are doing the same way db.query. Then we have a category model.table. Then we are doing the mapping, and we are mapping the data that dynamic data with our model class. Then we have a delete product, and that delete product we are doing the same thing, db.initialize. Then we have is saved. Instead of that we can do is deleted, and here we are passing the delete model, that table, and then we are passing the model. And if we go to that delete function, that we are doing the same way, we are passing the where condition here, and we are passing the model.id, and then we are checking if deleted is equal to 1, then we are passing it as true, else false. So that is our dbservice.dat file. So now let's move to that pages. First of all, we go to the home page, and we have already created the page. I will go through that. So now here what I'm doing, I'm just calling that creating one variable of db service, and we are using homepage as a stateful widget, and here we are initializing that class of db server. Then we have a common build function, build widget. And then we are using the future builder here, and in that future builder we are just fetching the data, and in the future we are calling get products, and get product we have created to fetch the data from that database. So in the builder we are checking here, we have a variables of parameters of build context. Then we have async snapshot, and we are checking here if product has data. Then we are returning that build UI which we have created, and we are passing the product.data. Else we are just showing the loader here. And the build UI we have already created the widgets. First one is a button. We have added that add product, that will be used to add the products. Then we have added the widget of build data table, and that we will use to display the data. Let's move to that, and here we are returning a data table, and we have a column of product name, then we have a column of price, then we have a column of action. In the action we are just defining two icons. One is for the edit and the second one is for the delete. And then here we are passing the model here, and the rows we are passing model.map, and here we are mapping that with our data row, and here we are passing the product name, and second one we are passing the data.price. Then we have third column, that is for edit button and delete button, and here we are calling that our edit page. We have created one common page, that is add edit product, and I will go to that page also. Then we have a icon button for deleting, and here we are calling form helper, and here we are just calling that show message, and we are passing the context. Then we have a title, then we have a message, do you want to delete this record. Then we have a label for the button, and then we have yes button, then it's the event of that yes button. And then we have a button text too, that we are name it as a no, and then we are passing here is confirmation dialog is true. Then we have a on press to method for our second button, and here just we are hiding that pop-up. So that's all in this page. Now we will create one more page. Now we will create one page of add edit underscore product.dart file. So this page also we are using as a stateful widget, and here we are passing that our model, that is product model, and we are using as a variable. Then we have a DB service, then we have a global key of form state. In the initialize we are just initialize our DB service class, then we initializing our model class, and here we are just checking here if that wizard is containing is edit mode, yes or no. If we are in edit mode, we are just passing our model we are sending from our data table. Then we have our build wizard, and there we are having app bar. Then we have a body. In the body we are just passing the form wizard, and in the key we are passing that key which we have created. In the child we have created a form UI, and in that form UI we are using the single child scroll view, and there we are having a container. In that container we are using the column wizard, and there in its child we are just passing all our wizards which we are created in our form helper. First one we are using field label, that is we are passing the form a product name. Then for that I am using text input type, and here for the value I am passing model.product name, and here on the on change I am just passing this model.product name is equal to new value whichever user will be entered. And the on validate we are just checking here if that value is empty, then we are returning here please enter the product name, else it will be return null always. Then we have a form helper dot field label, and we have a product description over here, and then we have a text input, and in the text input we have a product description, and in the product description after product description we have a on change event, and here also we are just assigning that new value whatever the value will be entered by user with our product description model variable. Then we are passing here is text area is true, because we are for the product description we are using as a text area control, and in the on validate we are not validating it as a we are just making it as a optional text box. Then we have a field label for product price, and there I am calling the same text input, and there we are passing that model dot price for that initial value. Then we have an on change event, and here I am just passing that double dot parse with the value because price is our double type, and then we are passing that is number input is true, and here we are just validating if the value is not empty, then we are passing that validation message of that return please enter price. Then we are checking here if is not empty and value is less than 0, then we are passing the validation message of please enter valid price. Then we have a field label for product category. Then we have created one wizard for product category, and here what we are doing, we are just calling our future builder, and then from the DB survey we are getting that categories, and once the data has been captured, and we are checking here if the categories has data, then we are returning here form helper dot select dropdown, and here also we are passing that initial value of model dot category. Then we have category dot data. Then in the on change event we are just passing that category is equal to model dot category is equal to in dot pass, and there I am passing that value, and that value will be converted to int type. In the on validate I am checking here if the value is null, I am just asking the user, we are returning the message to user that please enter the product, please select that product category. Then we are just calling return null, and else we are just calling that circular progress bar once when the data is being loaded. After product category we have a field label of select product photo, and there we are calling our picker, and there I am just passing that product pic as a variable, and on the on file picked event I am just passing that file path to our product pic, and here we have a btn submit button. In the submit button we are just checking here if the validate and save method, we will call that validate and save method which we have created. What we are doing in this method, you are just checking here the current state of that form, and we are checking here if it's validate, Then we are just calling that form.save and returning true. So now let's run the application. I will go through that application with the code side by side. So here our application is data table is coming but with the no record, and now we will add the product here. We will click add product and we will type polo t-shirt. Then we will, in the description we will put polo 001. Then we have a price of 500. Then we will have a category. Then we will have the select product photo, and from here we will select the photo here. Now the photo is coming here. Now we will click the save product. Now we are getting that pop-up of data modified successfully. Now data has been added. So we can also edit the data from here, and we can change the price here. We can click the save button. We will get data submitted successfully. The message has been showing incorrectly. So here, from here we can also delete the data. When we click here, it will ask for, do you want to delete this record? If we click no, it will not. If we click yes, it will delete the data. So that's all in this video about that SQLITE CRUD operation. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share, and I will come back soon with more videos. Thank you.